guys, and welcome to the Trials World Cup in Berlin, the last final round of 2018. And I'm here with Felix from the Berlin.
Von meiner Seite beim letzten World Cup der Trials-Saison 2018 hier in Berlin. Wir sind bereit für die Finals. Wir starten um 14 Uhr mit den Damen. Und Sie können uns gerne über unsere Facebook-Seite oder über unsere Instagram-Seite Fragen, Kommentare schicken. Wir versuchen auf alles einzugehen, alles zu erklären. We'll now switch mostly to English for
Mostly,
our global
not completely.
audience. And welcome, Andre. Thanks for joining us here. Andre just rode the semi-final this morning, actually very successful, finishing in 7th place. So it's great that he's now here commentating with us.
Yeah, we had a deal that I'd commentate the finals, so I had to finish 7th. So I let Clement Mayo into 6th place. I'm joking, he beat me fair and square. So anyway, we're here with the ladies' competition first, and we had a really exciting semi-final. Some incredible riding went down last night. It was all floodlit in the evening, and the arena just looks absolutely spectacular here in Berlin. And the girls rode really, really well, and we're about to see the top 6 from qualifying. How many girls was there there was 19 riders in the semi-final yesterday, and 6 are through to the final now, and they're just doing the presentations up onto stage.
Yeah, and there's actually a massive surprise. Nina Reichenbach, who's dominated the season so far by winning all World Cups, winning the European Championship.
Absolutely.
She actually only finished in 4th place in the semi-final. After leading the group after round 1, she had quite some struggle in the second round. Still made it to the final, so it's going to be very interesting to see how she recovers today.
It is indeed, and of course the points are, they start again with the points. Obviously, I don't know if you guys can hear the crowd in the background there, but we have a fantastic crowd here. And of course, Nina being German, I'm sure they're going to be going absolutely crazy for her. She is, of course, the favourite to win. Like Felix says, having won everything this year so far. So, yeah, in the semi-finals, basically, Manon managed to finish first on just 6 points. Irene on 7 points. Alsbita on 8 points. Nina on 12 points. Perrine on 19, and Erika on 20 points. So quite a close semi-final, but the points, they're all scrapped, and everybody starts on 0, and it's a completely different competition now. So it'll be interesting to see where Nina can take it, and I'm sure she's going to be focused and fired up to win here in her home country today.
Yes, and I think the riders have different skill levels. Some are more on the power end of the trial spectrum, some are more on the technical end, and I think the sections actually give a nice opportunity for all types of rider to do good today. So I'm assuming it will be open till the very last section, like we actually had it at the last World Cup in Antwerp, where it was a tight race.
I hope so. So we've got a real mix of sections here. They've done a fantastic job of actually having basically different surfaces on the floor. They've gone to a lot of effort to do this, and so we've got really kind of loose flooring all the way through to concrete run-ups and square obstacles, as well as rocks and technical logs and that kind of thing as well. So there's a real, it's really going to be a show of who's got the best all-round skill and ability through these sections. So here we go, the girls are off. They will be tackling the sections one at a time. Starting from 6th place in qualifying in the semi-finals, sorry. So first up, we will have Erika.
And the crowd is really, like, I hope you can hear it from the outside microphones. It's a massive crowd for a Trials World Cup that's not in the middle of a city, but in an arena. A lot of people came out to watch the riders compete.
Absolutely, yeah, we've got a huge crowd here, and actually, like, ironically, it's sunny. Of course, they went for an indoor venue this time of year, because we expected it to be freezing cold here.
We had huge discussions at the beginning of the year in the team whether we could do it somewhere near the Brandenburg Gate, which would have been great as well. But usually this time of the year is like 5 degrees and rain. So a nightmare for World Cup. So we decided to invest the additional money, go for the indoor. It's a great venue, an old airport, an old hangar. There's actually a plane standing outside.
Like, even with the sunshine and with the heat, it's actually still really, really nice in here. And we've got a warm-up area outside, which everybody's been riding to death. So it's been really nice to have that mixture of indoors and outdoors as well. I think it was a wise choice, even with the weather being as it is. So here we go. Erika is making her assault on the first section. Now, Felix and myself had a little walk around the sections just before we started, so we've seen all of the elite 20-inch and 26-inch gates and the women's gates. And this bit that Erica's on now looks really tricky. It's such a horrible little balance line. So it'll be interesting to see how these girls get on. She's got to line up. Lot of balance on this. Just losing the back
and
wheel.
unfortunately on a 5.
5 points for Erica in the first section.
Luckily she's fine. She just looks very disappointed. The first section actually sponsored by one of our main sponsors, Volkswagen Germany. Big shout out to them. Big thank you. Without their money and support, let's be that frank, an event like this wouldn't be possible.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, without the sponsors, these events don't happen. It costs a lot of money to make something that looks this good. But I have to say that I think you guys here in Berlin have actually taken the lead in the competition of the year. I mean, this is absolutely fantastic. It's beautiful to look at. The sections have been fantastic to ride. All the riders are riding around smiling and just happy to be here. And the crowd is fantastic. We've got 2 huge bandstands here, so you can really see all of the action that's going on. And a huge, lovely crowd.
Thanks very much. Obviously, would be an awesome result for the team to become the World Cup of the year on the first ever World Cup in Berlin.
You know what? I would put money on it.
Thank you. So we have Perrine from Belgium, very powerful female rider. Not the best results over the season. She was quite busy with the university, but she looked very strong yesterday in the semi-final. And
Yeah,
I think the mix of power and balance is very good for her here.
Yeah, and she's been training a lot recently. I know that earlier in the year she said she's been concentrating on university and finishing that. So now the last few weeks since Antwerp, she's actually trained a little bit more. So yeah,
And very nice side hop, very precise.
Really, really good there. Great start for Corinne.
And now she's entering the balance section, and it's quite a loose ground where you have to take off, so that makes it even more difficult.
Yeah, and you can see, so she's, for anybody that doesn't know about trials already, you've got to get the whole centre line of the bike between the axles through those markers. Yes,
come on, push it.
Look at this. Come on, Perrine. Come on.
Awesome
Come on.
balance.
Yeah, look at that.
That's amazing.
Amazing.
And the crowd loves it.
Very good crowd. That was some great riding, and that is like, when you're nervous, trying to balance like that is
it's super hard. Like,
it's hard anyway.
I mean, you're still competing, judging from my competition times. That section, nightmare for me from the balance part.
Oh yeah, myself and Isia Vandenberg, who's going around with Perrine, you can see him in the background there. We were looking at the section earlier, and we both said, like, I'm glad that's not in a competition for us, because I'd struggle. And she's out on
1 point. That's a statement here in the first section.
That's really, really good. Fantastic start.
And she looks really focused. I think actually she's on a mission, and she's planning her season towards the World Championships in China in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, she was saying she's debating whether to go or not, and I think the fact that she's managed to make the finals here today, I think she's probably going to go, and I think it's well warranted, especially with that effort on the first section there. So here we go.
With the world champion Nina Reichenbach, for our German audience. Nina Reichenbach aus der Nähe von Pforzheim. Aktuelle Weltmeisterin, hat bisher dieses Jahr alle Weltcups gewonnen, führt das Gesamtklassement an. Hatte gestern ein bisschen Schwierigkeiten im Halbfinale, vielleicht auch mit dem Druck vom Heimweltcup. Und ja, wir hoffen jetzt natürlich, dass sie gut durchs Finale kommt und ein gutes Ergebnis erreicht. Und am Ende für sie natürlich das alles Entscheidende, dass sie heute den Gesamtweltcup gewinnt. So Nina very focused before the first side hop, which we've seen nicely. She's actually jumping to the other side than Perrine. So she now has to turn around almost by 180 degrees to take the gate. Nicely done.
So if you guys want to get in touch and ask us any questions, you can comment on the live feed or get in touch via the Berlin_trials Instagram page. So just drop us a comment and or drop us a question or any remarks. Tell us what you think of the arena. It'd be great to hear from you guys, and we will do our best to get back to you as well. You can always send me a message through my personal Instagram as well. So just type in Andre Burton, drop me a message, and we will do our best to get back to you, answer any questions you've got about this fantastic setup and the riders, etc. here. So
going for a slightly different approach here. Up onto that rock and turning around. It's a very awkward setup. Really fighting to control her balance.
And it's actually very difficult because there's a men's elite arrow, which you need to be very careful with to stay in the gate.
Yeah. So it's important, for those of you that don't know, you're not allowed to go through any other gates that are not your colour, so, or not from your route. So there's an elite gate just on the left, and the girls aren't allowed to go through that. And you can see Nina really struggling here to get set up on this log. It is really awkward, I'm not going to lie. I'm really glad I don't have to do this.
It was actually in the men's race yesterday, the other way around.
5 points, unfortunately. Oh no, 4. I think she's on 4.
She actually saved it.
Yeah, and that's 5 on time, unfortunately. Oh, not a great start for Nina. But as we've seen from Nina in the past, she can, you know, if anybody can bring it back, she can. I've seen a couple of competitions where she hasn't necessarily been leading early on, and then, you know, the next sections go past, and somehow she just manages to fly back in there.
And I mean, the girls are now at a professional level, which is crazy. Nina is riding men's competitions in Germany on junior level, and actually with very nice results. And some of the juniors are actually riding here in the men's World Cup in the quarterfinals.
Yes.
So
a couple of the ladies'
impressive
gates from the finals here are actually the qualification for the guys' gates. So they're really riding quite a good level now. Here we go. Alsbeta starting her time qualifying in 3rd place, which is a fantastic result for Alsbeta.
I think it's her first World Cup final, actually.
I think it is. I think you're right in saying that. Let's see how she gets on with these final sections.
And she's taking a tactical dip here. The side hop is actually a nice combination of height and precision. That obstacle is normally on our training ground, so I know it quite well.
Ah, really?
I actually hate that
local. Okay.
She's tackling it from the other side again.
It really shows that Perrin fighting her balance and controlling it really shows.
That was worth it.
A really good fight. Yeah.
First step towards the podium.
4 points as well. I mean, that's a big step. We'll see how Manon and Irene get on after this. But you can see Alsbeta's back tyre there, just sliding off to the right-hand side and catching it on her foot. Now, it's actually really quite slippery, and part of the bark has ripped off of that beam. So it's really awkward. But 2 points so far.
Whoa, stay.
Yes.
Yeah, very nice. Fought back. And I mean, how close the women's categories was shown at the last World Cup in Antwerp, where there was like
Super
2
close.
points from place 1 to place 3.
Yeah.
And then only
really,
another
really
1 or 2 points to be off the podium. So very, very close race.
Yeah, she's running out of time. Just 15 seconds left, roughly. On a 3 so far.
And I mean,
down to the floor, get out the gate. 3 points, nicely done there for Alsbeta. That's a 3. So, Perrin still in the lead. 2 riders to go. Next up we have Irene.
And I mean, I just took a look around, and the stands are completely packed. There's 3 lines, 2 lines of people lined up already, and we just started the women's final. So I guess it's going to get even more packed throughout the afternoon.
It's going to get crazy.
It's amazing.
It's going to get crazy. So here we go. Irene starting section 1. Let's see how she can get on.
And she's an amazing rider. Like, she tackles really big obstacles with great technique. She's not yet there that she has the physical strength, I would say. But still, she's able to compete at that level. And I wonder.
She's only 20 years old as well, so she's got a bit of time to build that strength up.
And she's taking a tactical depth. She quickly looked at whether to take the side hop to the wrong side, and then decided to go for the safe option. I mean, the advantage of the good result in the semi-final is that you can watch the other riders go first and see where they struggle, and then decide on whether you take a tactical dab, whether to invest some time or whether to go fast.
Exactly, yeah, that's where the pressure comes on. Like in the semi-final, it is good to finish kind of like third, second, first, so that you can watch a couple of riders and go, right, okay, do you risk it? Do you go for that move? Do you have to take that? Or can you just kind of relax and take that 1 point and get through the section? So there is a bit of emphasis to make sure you don't just finish in the top 6, but actually finish high in the top 6 into the finals.
And we actually had, in the men's categories, we had some surprises this morning in the half final. With the Austrian champion, for example, Thomas Pekaker.
Don't talk about that.
And I know it
breaking
hurts.
my heart, man.
Andre, like hell, they're good friends. Training together whenever possible.
We're going to Spain this week together. Yeah, and I just, you know, he's such a good rider, and he's so close so often. And it's gutting that he didn't make the finals, but unfortunately his rear hub actually snapped in the middle of a section, and it cost him 5 points.
It's
and
a
that put him out.
technical defect that cost him the final. And now Irene is gonna get another point on time, which will make it 5 points, which is unfortunate. Good riding, but a little too slow, unfortunately. But it shows the nice level of the sections, that we have everything from 1 to 5 in the scores.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's also, like, for the organizers, very important that you don't only get very low or very high scores, because then you missed kind of the level you should have built.
We were talking. I was talking to that with one of the guys earlier, and there's been a really nice spread. You know, like in 20 inch has been a fantastic kind of spread across the numbers in terms of first place sort of on second, and then the last place sort of on 25, you know, for a lap. So it's really been a really nice mixture, and it's just showing that they've actually managed to hit bang on the right level with these sections. And you know, it's great, and it must help as well having Hannes there. He's got so much competition experience, knowing the level, knowing his own abilities and the abilities of everyone else.
I mean, actually the team here in Berlin is great, because it's all former riders who at least competed on national level.
Yep, fantastic.
So there's a lot of experience in the team. Many of us still ride like local competitions for fun, which is a huge advantage when building sections. Also causes huge discussions, because everybody has an opinion, and a strong one. And Manon already on 1 point. Let's see how the winner of yesterday's semi-final tackles this lock.
You see, we were talking before about the advantage of finishing slightly higher up in the semi-finals, but equally, because Perrin was out earlier on in the final, you know, she could just go for it, because there is no precedent set. So she could just go for this move and give it everything, and it paid off. So maybe that will have worked out really well for her to finish slightly lower down in the semi-finals, because now these girls are under a lot of pressure. And Manon doing very well there. Like, balance is so good along that log.
And she's fast. She has 40 seconds left to finish the rest of the section.
Yep. Now, I looked at this last gate, and there's so many different options of ways to go. So the gate's actually behind her now, so she's going to go up, turn around on the rear wheel, and then drop through. Control.
And that's actually a very sharp rock they have to drop off. And she's out on 2 points.
2 points. So Perrin leading the way on 1.
Yeah.
Manon on 2. And we have Alsbita on 3. And the other 3 ladies on 5 points after the first section.
So quite a change in the first section compared to the results in the semi-finals.
Absolutely.
Which is great. Another day, another chance, and I really love the mode that this final starts from 0. A couple of years ago, you took the points from the semi-final to the final.
Yeah, they had the handicap system, and I think the problem with the handicap system was always that if the sections were not like really hard, it played too much of a role in the final.
Yes,
you know, like there was, you basically couldn't ride well enough to make back up the extra points to finish, you know, like in first instead of second, etc. So it's kind of difficult to set the sections in that light. And I think this way is much better. It's completely separate competition. You've got to ride hard to get into the finals, and then in the finals it's back to square one, and we can really have a fight to see where these guys can get.
Okay. So we have Erica, first rider in the second section, which is a section sponsored by Beton Erding, a local construction company, and they've been supporting us local riders here also in the local competitions. They gave us a lot of obstacles for the training ground. We had actually a show to promote the World Cup at the cycling fair here in Berlin, and
Awesome.
they put almost the same section we have here today.
Really?
They built for us to do that show.
You can't say that, because that means that the Germans had a hometown advantage.
No, because it wasn't the World
No, I'm
Cup
joking, I'm
riders
joking.
riding it.
I'm joking.
That's why I couldn't attend the quarterfinal, because I knew it already.
Because you'd already. Yeah, it would have been unfair advantage.
So now, actually, a quick shout out to my family who's WhatsApping me like crazy. They think it's very funny that I'm actually here commentating, and they love the crowd and the race. So, hi to the family back home. Glad you joined.
It's an interesting point there. So, one of the guys from the TV crew earlier on that didn't really know anything about trials yet, he asked, like, oh, so how much practice time do the riders have on the sections, like, in the days before? And the answer is 0. You're not allowed to ride any of it beforehand. Obviously, a sport like this, it's what I would say is an open sport instead of a closed sport. So, like 100-meter running, every time you're on the same track, you know what the track feels like. Everyone's used it, and it's just who can run the fastest. Here, it's who can adapt their skills and learn on the go in the sections, how grippy the rock is, how much friction you can get in certain areas, all that kind of thing, all comes into it. So for a rider, if one rider's ridden the section already, the advantage is absolutely huge, and it would be completely unfair. So it's really important that each of the sections, it's all completely new, nobody's ever ridden it before, and it's how you can tackle these obstacles.
And I mean, you can't see it here on the live screen, but if you look out the window, the women spending a lot of time walking the track, actually,
absolutely,
and memorizing the ways they want to go, checking in their mind which technique to use, and they have a very, very clear plan, like all riders do. Perrine is going to attempt a side hop here. Very nicely done.
Wheel.
That one's actually big, and all of the women struggled yesterday on that side hop.
Yeah, most of them choosing to take a technical dab, and this is where we can see the difference. Perrine's actually a CrossFit coach. She's really strong, spends a lot of time in the gym, and she's transferring that onto the bike now and really kind of making these bigger moves. It's a shame as well we don't have Janine here from Australia, who is a former world champion.
And Janine actually gave me a shout out yesterday. I had a quick chat with her. She's gutted not to be here, but from Australia to compete in the European World Cups is always
it's a bit
quite
of
an expense. So if you want to sponsor her, she would
love
love to attend next
or any
season.
of us. Drop us a line.
All the riders could use
out.
some sponsors. No, but I think she's actually planning to attend the World Championship.
She'll be in
China.
Yeah. She did send me a message. Sorry, Janine, if you're listening. I did ignore you. Just blatantly ignored you. Sorry.
It's probably still too early for her anyway.
Yeah.
No, too little. No, actually, it should be
clean.
No,
Perrine on 0 points in section 2. So, a nice early lead there for Perrine. See what the other girls can do. It's going to put them under quite a bit of pressure now, because she's on a total of 1 point.
That's now a massive pressure.
Yeah, 1 point, and Manon on 2, and Erica on 3 points. So it's
and now
very close.
Now actually,
Nina's got a bit of work to do.
Yeah,
pressure's on.
Yes, and now her bad result from the semi-final actually turns into a good result, because with the two good sections, 2 low scores, now Nina has quite some mind work to do in order to catch up.
Yeah, she's definitely going to have some work to do to catch up, and let's see what happens. This is going to be exciting. Here we go. So going through a different approach here. We saw Perrine side up to back wheel, and Nina's really good at those pedal ups. Nice little tap with the front tyre up to back wheel. I actually think that she's going to clean this. I think Nina's definitely got it in her to keep this on 0.
In training, she side hops like a meter and 10 obstacles, so that should be no issue at all, and she proves me right.
Yeah.
And the crowd loves it. The local rider fighting her way back.
Here we go. Yeah, making short work of that next gate.
And
so up to this last gate, the last big step. to have to put in a bit of effort to get high enough on this.
Yeah. Shout out to Mark's Madhouse, who's tuning in on YouTube, and thank you very much for the compliments on the commentating and on the organization. And Nina is out on a clean, very nicely done. So she's back in the competition.
Staying in the game. Okay, so next up we have Alsbeta coming in. 3 points on the first section, so she's going to want to do her best to keep that lead. She's going to have to under a bit of pressure to get a clean here. All right, here we go. Alsbeta through that first gate, and you can see the amazing decals these guys have done on the pipes here. Made them look really, really nice. This really cool cityscape of Berlin. Alsbeta going for the safe approach, putting a foot down, not risking losing too many points.
Now let's see what her power on the side top is.
This will be interesting to see if she goes for it.
Yes, nicely
nice.
done.
So up this last pipe, and then the difficult pedal up to finish. So we're talking about the riders walking the sections first. You're obviously not allowed to ride the sections first. So you walk through them, and you have to have that really good kind of mental visualization of where your bike will go, where your tyres will fit, all that kind of thing, and work out what you are and aren't capable of, and how the best way is to plan your route through these sections. And Alsbeta, knowing her limits, going for 2 points instead of risking any more. So 5 points in total for Alsbeta after 2 sections. Next up we have Irene from Spain. Really cool. They've got all the flags from all the different countries competing. I don't even think all the countries competing, but many of them up in the background.
Actually, we had registrations from all of the countries. Unfortunately, the guy from Brazil had issues with his visa, for example, and couldn't make it last minute. Yeah.
Oh, no, wait a minute. We've got Diego. He's from Brazil.
Oh, so
Brazil
we
is
actually had
here.
a rider from Brazil.
Well, not Brazil's here, obviously. Diego's
But
here. Yeah, he
officially from Brazil. So.
Yeah. Unfortunately, Antonio sent his passport off for a new visa, and it hasn't returned in time. Sorry, Antonio. Shame he's not here.
She's probably tuning in, at least for the men's finals later on.
Oh, no doubt, no doubt. I know he's doing shows with Jack Carthy back in the UK this weekend.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. Irene looking for this side up on the back wheel. Yeah, pushing the front wheel in. Yeah, these girls making short work of that move.
It's actually, they seem very comfortable on the power moves. Now, that pipe is actually a bit slippery because it's sprayed. Nice control. Come on, push for the edge. And big drop. No problem for her. And she's going for the tactical depth. She knows she finished the section really nice, and that's a very narrow gate. So she rather takes the 1 point safe and stays in the race.
Exactly.
She gets another one for time. 2 points.
2 points in total for Irene, and then Manon next to try and keep up there with Perrin. She's going to have to try and get a clean on this one, I think. Just want to say a little shout out to Jason Lake, tuning in from the UK, watching live whilst he's doing his Sunday cooking a Sunday roast. So how's it going, guys? I've just tuned into the live feed myself, so I can actually see your comments now. So drop us a message and I'll do my best to get back to you. Interesting one here. Bike Trials Bucharest. What kind of paperwork do you need in order to participate? Well, basically you need your National Cycling Federation to sign you up. It's as simple as that. So get in touch with your National Cycling Federation. That is the official governing body with the UCI, no other federation. So the UCI, International Cycling Union, just get in touch with them and they can sign you up to come and compete in World Cups. And of course there's 3 rounds in the World Cups. There's qualifications, semi-finals and finals. So and it gets harder and harder through the rounds, the finals of course being the hardest rounds. So if you wanted to come and compete, you can come and have a go at the qualifications, and then if you don't make semi-finals or finals, you can stay, watch, and check out the sections.
And Manon had a very interesting approach to the previous obstacle. She took it from the other side than all the riders. Nice pedal kick to back, turned around on the back wheel, and went through the gate. Side hop is no challenge for her. She's really powerful. She made quite a big improvement from last season to this one, so very productive winter. So the athletes actually keep pushing almost all year round.
Yeah, absolutely.
So with the World Champs in November, there's probably a little break until Christmas, and then already season prep starts. So
yeah, I'd say, like, I mean, me myself, I'm planning on taking December off, probably just hitting the gym, and then starting prep like sort of January for next year. And I want to kind of hit next year hard. It's always important at the end of the year to give yourself a little bit of a break. Yes, Manon cleaning section 2 as well. So
that's actually
3 ladies cleaning section 2. I think we have 3 clear favourites so far. We have Nina, Manon and Perrine. But there is 3 sections to go. There is all to play for. We're not even halfway through. Let's see where they can take it.
And the next one now is actually very difficult, because the ground on the section is either loose rocks or water, because we're on the section with the first pool. And we've seen quite some people go swimming in the half finals. So let's see if the women stayed right this time.
I actually watched, I'm sorry Vincent, but I've got to say it, I watched Vincent Hermans take a massive crash on the water set on the logs, and he literally, like I said before the competition started, at least it's not deep enough to go full submersion. But actually Vincent proved me wrong, and he basically went full swim with
he
the ducks.
basically laid down in the duck pool, which we're going to see in section 5.
I was kind of like, I really hope that doesn't happen to me, but he took it pretty well and got back up and carried on and made the final.
And actually he cleaned it in the second round, so he learned from swimming.
Yeah. He decided staying dry was the best way to go. Hopefully somewhere there'll be a replay of that at some point.
I'm pretty sure the TV team was already up and running.
Yeah. So here we go. We are into section 3 with Erica first up on 2 points so far. So like we were saying, each section is very, very different. We've just come from the concrete pipes, quite square, straightforward move. And these rocks, and you can see the floor is all different type of textures.
Oh, and she's out on a 5.
Balancing.
That's actually a very, very big and precise jump for the women on the top of that rock. And they need to fight their balance, because they basically need to turn to the left in order to make the next gate. So we just had a fan fooling around with us in the commentating
from Hungary.
box.
This guy's from Hungary.
He's from Hungary.
Yeah,
Perfect.
he organises competitions in Hungary. So he's organising a C1 quite soon. So he's here checking out the level and seeing what he can do.
So for all the spectators not familiar, a C1 competition is basically a European Cup, half the points than for a World Cup. A little
I think less than half the points.
Is it less
or maybe
now?
It is half. I'm not sure.
But it actually came up a couple of years ago, and now a lot of riders are using those to prepare to get some points for the world rankings, which is important for the men's, because if you're ranked in the top 10 position, you don't have to compete in the quarterfinals.
To be honest, yeah, I think like where I personally stand on it is a little bit like I don't think the C1s are a good idea, because I think it disrupts the world ranking, and it basically means like if you're rich and you have a lot of weekends free, you can just go to lots of C1s and you can make up the points, which is a bit of a shame. So personally, I think most people going off of the actual World Cup results is probably a slightly more accurate result of the actual standings in terms of world level. But just looking at a couple of the questions here on YouTube, is there a weight limit to the bikes? No, there is no weight limit to these bikes. They can be as light as possible. The Monty, like Perrine's on, is probably weighing in at 6.5, 7 kilos.
Yeah.
So pretty light. It's about as light as they get. Most bikes averaging probably 8 kilos. So see what Perrin does on this section. She's going to be feeling a bit of pressure now to try and keep herself together.
It's a big move for her. I mean, that depth was triggered by her knowing the score. That was not necessary.
Absolutely.
But,
so
she plays it safe. She knows she has a chance of winning, and she wants to make it happen.
Still quite a lot of gates to go. She's going to have to get a bit of a wriggle on here to get through. 30 seconds left, and she's got half the gates. But they are a little bit more straightforward and less technical. So up across this block in front of her.
But that block, that Lego block, that concrete Lego block is actually not too nice to ride. Because you need to be very precise so your tire doesn't get pushes from the left and the right.
Absolutely.
But no problem for Perrin.
Come on, Perrin. She better get moving. She wants to keep that lead. 1 point so far. She's going to be going into time penalties. So every 10 seconds out of the 2 minutes, she'll be getting time penalties. So as you can see, they've just given her a time penalty there. She needs to really make a move. Keep those 3 points down to a minimum. 3 points.
And she's out on 3 points.
So, that might have opened up a little bit of a doorway for Manon and Nina there.
It's getting closer, and so there will be a very nice Instagram post about Andrea and myself online in like a minute.
Boiling hot in this little oven.
It's
oven with a window.
We're sitting in a little glass box. We can't really open the door because it's super loud outside.
Interesting question here from Fabio on YouTube. Says, how UCI choose the countries who participate? They don't. Anybody can participate. The UCI International Cycling Federation, any country can participate if they want. So here I think we probably have roughly about 20 different countries competing.
Yes, that's right, from the registrations. And I mean, for the riders, you need to apply for a professional UCI license, which is a couple of bucks. It's not expensive.
So it actually varies quite a lot from country to country. In the UK, it's about €100 for the year. But I know in Australia, for them to come and compete abroad, so for Janine, it's around 1,000
for the license.
Yeah, for
that's
her to get the license, and it's basically for their insurance cover. The Australian Cycling Federation basically charge them the earth to come over, which is a bit of a shame. In other countries like us, the UK and probably Germany, it's around €100 to get the license for the year. And here we go, Nina cleaning that, and you can hear the crowd going absolutely wild.
Asking for the time. She has 1 minute 6 seconds left.
She's got lots of time
very
left.
Good on time.
Yeah, I think we could be on for a clean here from Nina. And like I said early on, she's very good at pulling it back.
That one's tricky.
Just because she didn't get it perfect in the first section. 2 more gates to go. Gate 4 and 5, I think it is. Making our way up the Lego block here. And like you say, they're super technical to ride. You've got to really know where you're putting your wheels on these things. Those of you that don't know, basically where you can see the tape around the edge, the Decathlon tape there, one of the sponsors. They're not allowed to cross the horizontal line above that tape. So both axles at all times have to stay in line with any of that tape in the section.
Massive riding from Nina.
0 for Nina on that section.
And the local hero out on another clean. So she really is back in the race with Perrin on 4 points, Nina on 5 points, and the other riders still having to tackle section 3, sponsored by Cemex. So
tell us who are the sponsors exactly that you have here for the Berlin World Cup.
So we have a mix of international companies, basically, and more local construction companies that support us. We are lucky to have a top rider with Hannes, who has a very good network, so he brought some of his sponsors along to sponsor the event, for example.
Fantastic.
Vita Energy, who are sponsoring Section 5, which we will see soon, or Imnauer Mineralquellen, so beverage company, a local one, which is really great. Then we have WD-40, so the bike and other oil and lubricants company. They also sponsor the World Cup in Belgium, I believe. So
they do, yeah.
They're active in trial. Top rider from Belgium, Kenny Billet, is on their payroll doing shows for them.
Indeed.
So they love the sport. They're supporting us a lot. Then obviously a big shout out to the state of Berlin. They have a...
Alsbeta,
that's a 5
unfortunately,
for
taking a 5
Alsbeta.
there.
They actually have an initiative to make Berlin a sports city, and the definition is that it can't be mainstream sports like soccer, ice hockey, basketball.
If you ask me, that is absolutely awesome.
So we got quite a bit of budget and also the access to this location for a fair price from them. So very good. And then obviously a big German car company, Volkswagen, with quite some financial support. You can already see the car in the background of the section. And then there's obviously many more small sponsors, like Gazak, where one of our head organizers works. They give us the trucks. TSE did the whole transportation stuff.
Wow, fantastic.
We got the cranes, the forklifts.
And it's
for
so
free.
difficult. Like it's so
very
difficult
important.
to get these sponsors on board. So it's worth noting that
Yes,
it's really a big thanks to the sponsors, because without those guys, this event wouldn't be taking place, and this amazing showcase for all these really talented athletes that are here this weekend. Not just the finalists, but everybody across the board. I mean, it's been absolutely fantastic, and big thank you to the sponsors for reaching into their pockets and making this event happen.
Yes, and
I mean, of course, the organisers for all of their time, because that's a huge amount of time invested in this.
Definitely. And I forgot one sponsor, which is Decathlon, sportswear and sports goods retailer.
Absolutely.
They sponsored the riders area, which I saw you and top Danish rider Jonas yesterday in stretching and warming up.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's really cool. That is actually one thing we haven't talked about yet, that we definitely should. We can see the arena and we can see the sections and it looks fantastic, but actually the stuff outside of the sections is really amazing as well. The riders have a full warm-up area with refreshments, drinks and food and snacks, and then also we have a warm-up area with rollers, skipping ropes, everything to kind of get yourself warmed up, stretch, rehab after the competition, and prehab before you ride. So it's really great. It's really leading the way in actually how a professional high-level sports event like this should actually be done. And also outside, just outside the hall, behind the big screen that you can probably see in the back of the screen at some point on your live feed, there's actually a have-a-go area. So kids can go and have a go at trials and try trials bikes. There's a whole big food area. You can get really nice coffee from the guy on the bike at the end. Yeah, they've got absolutely everything. I mean, they've really gone to town catering for everything here. It's really fantastic. Very well thought out. And that, I just want to note,
was a massive ride from
was a great
Irene
ride
on
from
one.
Irene. 1 point there from Irene for section 3. So she's totaling 8 points after 3 sections. Alsbeta is on 8, 9, 10 points. We've got Nina on just the 5 in the first section, Perrin on 4 points in total after 3 sections, and Erica on 15. So Manon manages to get a 1 or less. She's going to be keeping her lead in the competition so far. And this is going to get really interesting, the last couple of sections, where, you know, who's going to be leading? Can they take any safety points? Are they going to have to go all out and see if it pays off? It's going to be really exciting last couple of sections as well. We've got some great feedback. We've got over 1,000 people tuning into the live feed, so hello everybody from around the world. How much pressure is in these tyres from Robin Wessels? Probably very low. Well, actually, interestingly enough, it depends a little bit on the rider's body weight and what sections we're riding. I know for myself, if I'm riding sharp rocks, it's a little bit harder, whereas if you're on slippery ground, you generally run them a little bit lower. So I'd say anywhere from about 25 psi to 35 psi, something around that range. Yeah. So not crazy light pressure, but they probably look very light because most of the time you're hopping on points, and obviously the points compress the tyres a lot more.
Yes, and I mean, there's no suspension in the bikes, so everything is suspended by the low pressure in the tyres. And
the bikes are completely rigid.
Super light. You're going to see later in the men's race, actually, there's some really sharp landings after big gaps of like 3 meters,
yes,
where they basically touch the rim.
Completely, yeah. But it's about taking the shock in with your body. You know, you might compress the tyre and hit the rim, but you need to take in a certain amount of that, like real blunt force in your legs, in your body.
Oh, crash from Manon.
This could be
That's
disaster for Manon.
unfortunate. And that was exactly the Lego parts, the
Yeah, that we were
spikes
talking about. Yeah.
that grabbed her back wheel.
You've got to be absolutely
Difficult to
accurate.
ride. Oh, she's gutted. She's okay, but she's really gutted. She knows that
could
was
be a big
really bad.
difference. So now that puts her jumped down into third place, Nina in second, and Perrine currently leading the World Cup.
Let's see how good Perrine's nerves are. She hasn't had a podium finish in a while, so quite
She
quite
hasn't
some
had a
mental
podium.
pressure.
She really hasn't competed very much this year. She won the Belgian Championship again, but she hasn't been focusing on her bike. So she's doing very well, and this could put her in good stead going in towards China as well. I think she's going to be booking a flight after this.
Let's hope so. The best riders should be in China. So to the Belgium Association, to the Belay team, get Perrine on the plane, bring her to China.
So just going to a question here on the live feed. Are these qualification ranks or points to get to Trial Worlds? For example, for Janine who has done no World Cups or international competition since last year. So basically the World Cup is actually completely separate from the World Championships, but all of it combined gives you an overall world ranking, just like in tennis. So it's kind of like a Grand Slam version in the trials world, and then the World Championship is basically determining the actual world champion. So if you win in China, you win the World Championships and the World Champion title. So the World Cup winner is the best overall in the season, which I think for myself and most people, if you win the overall World Cup, because it's across 5 events, then you're probably the best overall in the season. Whereas if you win the World Championships, it's just that one-off jersey. You could have a good or a bad day. It's a little bit of pressure on one event. But it is, of course, the pinnacle.
Yeah. Actually, the national championships are more important in big countries like Spain, France, and Germany, because only 5 riders per category are allowed per nation at the World Cups.
So the World Cups are open,
Yeah.
and basically to qualify for the World Championships in each nation, you generally need to be kind of top 3 to top 5 riders in 20, 26 inch and in women. So there's quite a bit of pressure to make sure you get some really good results in your nationals as well.
Now, Erika taking on the Berlin section, which is basically wooden letters and a fake Brandenburg gate, a little bit smaller, and the WD-40 oil bottle. Which we're going to see in the men's final with a massive move.
Huge move. I'm excited. I really want to try that later on as well. Just quickly to note, somebody said, why isn't there a 26-inch woman category? There actually is, and you're looking at it. So these girls can ride 20, 24 or 26. It's completely up to their own choice. But just generally speaking, the 20-inch bikes are more suited for, A, for the women, and B, actually, for the sections that are built. And the 20-inch bikes are just a little bit easier to move through the small technical parts. So, good question there.
And I mean, both Andre and myself, we like to switch the bike from time to time. We both have 26 and 20-inch bikes, and mostly ride 26-inch, but from time to time it's fun to have a play on the small bike.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. I mean, I've for those that have been around in trials for many, many years, I've obviously ridden 20-inch in the World Championships and stuff as well, and it is a bit of a laugh. I think it's nice to ride the different things. So just to note here, Perrine flying in straight to back wheel through that first gate. So starting well on section 4. Closing in, still in the lead. She's going to be feeling a little bit nervous now. Hopefully she can keep herself together.
Oh, and we just talked about it.
No.
Very unnecessary crash. I've seen her done the same obstacle in the semi-final without any issue. That now brings Nina and Manon back in the race.
It does, absolutely, yeah. We've got Nina next. So it'll be interesting to see if Nina can do this on a 4 or less, then she'll jump into first place so far. Here we go, home crowd. There is actually a huge crowd here. I mean, I'd say there's probably a couple of thousand people here. And it's amazing for a trials event to attract so many people, especially inside on a beautiful day as well. And it's a real testament to how good trials is to actually watch, especially live. It's absolutely fantastic. The atmosphere in here is awesome.
I mean, we have the massive advantage. Nina
Just
now
saying
playing
there,
tactical.
Nina, look at that, playing it safe, putting her foot down. She saw Perrin go in and try it, and she thought, "Do you know what, I'm going to play it safe." She wants to try and jump back into that lead. It's very important to keep that lead.
No, what I was mentioning, we are here at the old airport in Berlin-Tempelhof in the middle of Berlin, and actually the runway is now a public park, and the warm-up section is right next to the entrance gate. So actually it's put there on purpose because it does kind of the advertising for the people in the park and pulls them in.
Yeah. Just say that Nina's just flown through those next two gates. Really, really nice pedal up and controlling her balance up that beam very, very nicely. And the crowd here are loving it.
And now this move was actually... Oh no, she has to tackle the E first. The last gate here of the women's was the last gate of the quarterfinal for the men's.
Yep.
So that's a big move. We have those letters also for our show setup. So that's actually a nice one to pull to back wheel. Nina taking a different approach, side hopping the first step.
Here we go. So
and now
1 point. She could be on 6.
Will she pull it to back round, to back wheel?
Of course she will. Yes.
Yeah, nicely done, Nina.
1 point, and she jumps into first place on the penultimate
that's
section.
World champion riding, fighting her way back after a difficult start.
Now, interestingly, there, if Perrin had gone in and put her foot down, would she have cleaned the rest of the section and therefore kept that lead?
Yes. But that's the pressure of going first. You need to risk a little more.
And sometimes she might have cleaned it and put Nina under even more pressure.
Yeah.
And Nina might have tried to clean it and had a 5. This is where tactics really come into to competitions. It's not just purely about the moves. Here we go. So Alsbeta 1 point through that first gate. I think she's going to go for opting for the foot down option here.
Nope.
No, she's done it. Clean side up. Yes. Great riding there by Alsbeta. I take that back. Stand corrected. Very nice for that.
And I mean, she has not much to lose anymore, so she can only push forward.
Absolutely. Look at that. Rolling straight through that third gate. No dramas. Making her way round. Just 2 more gates to go.
Yes.
This could be a good result. So far in the competition, she's on 10 points. So if she can finish this on a 1, I think that would be absolutely fantastic. Loads of time to get through to the end.
Yeah. Let's see how she can cope with the last big move, pulling the B letter to the back wheel.
So, interesting question here, saying, are they using alloy or carbon frames, and are there any tie frames? Well, most of them are aluminium, and now we're seeing more and more carbon frames coming. Alsbeta there, out on 1 point. Such a good ride.
So, actually, here in the final, we have Perrin on a carbon bike. Everyone else, as far as I have seen it. No, actually, Irene is on the same carbon bike as well. Spanish manufacturer.
Yeah, Monty bikes. Just
the others are on alloy.
You know those frames are actually under a kilo. Crazy light. It's like a bag of sugar. Yeah, most people actually are still on aluminium frames. I myself am still on an aluminium frame, but the carbon bikes are coming in. And as the technology is increasing and they can take the big hits and stuff. The thing is, in trials, you basically bang the bike about quite a lot and you're always hitting rocks. So it's always a bit of a gamble if you go into a carbon frame. An aluminium frame is just a little bit stronger in terms of taking the impacts. So Irene there, clean through the first gate. Looked very, very close to a 1 on that first gate.
Also taking the tactical depth. But she's on 8 points, and a good ride from Alsbeta now put pressure on her, so she doesn't want to risk it.
Absolutely. So it's actually still very close. The scores at the moment before Irene finishes. Alsbeta is on 11. We've got Nina on 6 and Perrin on 9. and Erica on 20. So it's very close. All the top riders are very, very close to each other in terms of points. That was interesting. You can see Klaus there, the observer, deciding whether that was clean or not. So basically, there's some yellow markers there that are from the elite section later on, and because her frame went very close to going over that line, the vertical line above that yellow marker, almost 5 points. So she did well not to get 5 on that. Just had a question there. Are there any Brazilian competitors? There was one, Diego Magno, and he rode the qualification. Unfortunately, didn't qualify through to the semi-finals. His riding's absolutely amazing, big powerhouse, but didn't quite find his perfect form here in Berlin.
And now Irene should push for the time. She had a really nice ride. Come on.
Come on, Irene. 10 seconds left. She needs to get a big lift to back wheel. Oh, flew up it. What was she hesitating for?
And
1
4
point.
seconds left. 1 point. Excellent ride.
So
good time management.
that's 10 points. She's on 10 after
No, should be 9.
9. Ooh, 9 points. So tying with Perrin there. Perrin would be
And that's
leading
actually going to be
on
the
the
race
zero.
for the podium. So it's very tight between place
the last
3 and
section.
4.
Yeah, 3 and 4.
It's
well,
again
2,
like
3
in
and 4, and
Antwerp.
potentially 1, 2, 3 and 4. I mean,
Let's see what Manon does. Maybe.
Yeah, Manon's on 7 before she starts this. Knowing Manon's riding, I think she could quite happily clean this, or at least do a 1. So, and if she does that, she'll be in second.
She
going
really
into
liked
the
that.
last section.
She really liked that section in the half final. It's kind of her moves.
Is she going to go? Yeah.
She's gonna dab.
Yeah, she's going for the safety dab. Okay, so Manon, 1 point so far in section 4. So it's coming down to the last section. It's going to be so close. It's really nice that going back a few years, I think that the level of the girls' competition was significantly less, and in the last couple of years, it's really stepped up. These girls are training so much; they're getting more powerful, they're getting more confident, and especially the top few riders, they're really raising that level, raising that bar, and pushing each other. It's really healthy competition.
Yeah, and I mean, I can speak for Nina. She's actually practicing on a daily level with 2 male top 50 in elite riders.
Yeah.
So that's the push she gets in the practice sessions, and that contributes immensely to her level of riding.
Yeah, and it's Janine in Australia. She's competing against the guys. There is no female category, so when she's the Australian champion, it's because she's actually beat the guys, which she does most years in the expert category, I believe. So here we go, Manon. 30 seconds left through this last gate. Just needs a big lift to back wheel, and she's going to go through with 1 point, which will put her in second place on a total of 8 if she can just get this lift. Yeah, nice. 1 point in that section. So going into the last section, we have Nina leading the way on 6 points. Like we said at the beginning, she's really brought that back. I mean, that's amazing. She started with a 5, thought, oh no, this isn't looking good, and she's managed to bring it back. So 6 points. Then we have Manon on 8 points. Perrin and Irene both on 9 points. That's the fight for third place as it stands, but also Alsbeta on 11, just behind. And Erica not having a great session so far on 20 points.
Yeah, but for her, it's the biggest win to make it to the final, to have that experience, to ride on those more difficult sections.
For most people, and you know, to make the finals is absolutely massive. I mean, I know many people that have competed for years that have never made a final.
Yeah,
never make a final, and it's, you know, to break into that top 6 is just incredibly hard. In all categories, that is, all categories. And here, you know, we started with 17 girls started here. So to make the top 6 is very difficult, and they're all very talented riders.
Yeah, and I mean, if you look at the more junior categories, actually, because you're only allowed to ride a World Cup once you turn 16.
Yes.
Which was quite a problem, or for some of the British young riders last year,
Yes,
who could have
absolutely.
competed at that level. There's a lot of female athletes coming in that are now like 13, 14 years that do very well on the Junior World Championships. So this is gonna increase over the next years. I think at some point we're going to switch to quarterfinals.
Next year we
have
Vera Baron, who's going to be competing in the women's category, and Vera is very, very talented Spanish rider. So she's currently too young to compete in the World Cup. So next year is going to be her first time in the World Cups, and I'm holding out big hopes that she's going to be pushing Nina and Manon even further. Unfortunately, Erica there just losing her balance, put both feet down. It's a really scary bit. We had to ride that in the semi-finals along that log and gap straight forwards. And these girls have to go along that tiny, skinny little beam to back wheel and drop down to the left-hand side.
Yeah, and you need to really catch your balance on the landing, otherwise you're in for a swim.
Absolutely. So Jeffrey Willen, any Brits in this? Unfortunately, I was 7th, so I was just out of the finals. Basically, contractually, I wasn't allowed to finish top 6 because I had to be here commentating. So unfortunately, there aren't any Brits. Jack Carthy decided to stay at home because he had a really important hair appointment. So unfortunately, he's not here this weekend. And Charlie Rolls finished an incredible 11th place. In his first year of second year of World Cups.
I think it's the first one. He's one of those young guns, or was it Adam? Adam Morwood
was the first one. Adams, it's his first year for Adam.
And Perrine just nicely did it
straight through gate 4. Yes.
And now that one's actually a really.
Do you know what though? This next bit, the crowd. Look at this. The crowd's absolutely loving it. But this next gate is really
like
skinny pedal up, real nervous. Let's hope she can hold it together and fly straight up this. You can see on your screens how thin that gate is. Oh, yes.
No problem at all.
Days through gate 5.
And she's very good on time with 1 minute 8 seconds left.
She is. Now this, I mean, the girls sections, there's actually a little bit of a difference between the guys and the girls sections in terms of balance. And I do think there's maybe a little bit more balance actually in the girls sections overall.
Yes.
So you're going to see this. She's going to have to like try and ride up this log completely straight, and the gate's right at the top of this. So look at this.
I think that will actually change. I think we will see more and more power moves for the girls.
Yeah,
which will be in favor of riders like Perrine.
Absolutely. Yeah. But yes, I'll be honest. I think that's a sensible move to put a foot down there.
I mean, it's a fight about the podium.
It's the last gate, yeah. And if she finishes this on a 1 and she knows that it's a difficult section. On the back wheel, dropping down.
And she's out on 1.
For 1 point.
That's 10 points in total.
That is 10 points in total.
So now Nina definitely has to finish the section at least on 4. Then they're on equal scores or on 3.
Yeah, basically she needs to get out the end of the section. If Nina gets out of that gate, she's ahead of Perrine, and the only person that can beat her, I believe, I'm right saying this, I think it's right, is Manon.
Yeah. And now that's an unusual situation for Nina, that she has to tackle the last section so early. Usually she's more or less the last girl to go.
Yeah, she is the last girl to go and knows what she needs to do, but here I think she's just going to have to go for the 0 points. So here we go, working our way up. You can see these really cool wood section, and they've wrapped the logs.
She's taken a different approach.
She is. They've actually wrapped the logs in chicken wire, basically to give the tyres a little bit more friction. Getting herself set up before this big gap across.
So for the German audience, die Baumstämme wurde komplett die Rinde entfernt und die sind glatt geschliffen. Yes. Dadurch sehen sie so schön aus. Dadurch sind sie aber auch ziemlich rutschig. An manchen Stellen haben die Fahrer als Hilfe Hasendraht über die Baumstämme gespannt bekommen, damit sie mehr Grip haben. Von daher nicht alle Stellen sind gleich gut, um drauf zu springen. Jetzt sehen wir Nina an dem schmalen Ast, aber überhaupt kein Problem für sie. Und jetzt hat sie auch noch das eine Hindernis, den langen Stamm nach oben und dann den Sprung ins Ziel. And if she can pull that clean, it will give her the 4th consecutive win and the overall win of the World Cup season.
Yes, it will indeed. Sorry, just coughing there. Yes. Is she going to go for the clean or is she going to put her foot down?
Yes.
I think she's going to go for the clean. Come on.
I know her. She's going for the clean.
Of course she is. Look at that. Working her way up. She can taste victory. Taste victory.
That's also a statement
0
towards the
points.
World Championships
She's
in China.
done it.
Excellent, Nina, and the crowd loves it.
That was
Won every single World Cup.
absolutely awesome
Amazing
ride.
race from Nina Reichenbach.
Now the pressure is on. Can Manon or Irene hold it together enough to beat Perrin? So it's the race is on for second place at the moment. Manon is second. That's a beautiful Echo bike in the background there. Oh, it's mine. We have Manon on 8, and we have Irene on 9.
So Irene now actually needs to clean it to be safe on the podium.
Yep, Alsbita on 11. She's out of the running for the podium now.
For her, actually the score guaranteed fourth score doesn't matter. But still, the experience you can gain. Actually, you're right. It's guaranteed fifth.
Guaranteed fifth. Still top 5. That's pretty good.
Top 5. Many points. Last World Cup of the season. Points are doubled. Making the final is actually a great achievement, also for the overall world ranking.
Absolutely, yeah. And don't forget, guys, after this, we're going to be going into the 26-inch elite finals next, which I am absolutely dying to watch. And then we're going to be going for the 20-inch finals as well. We do have a German rider in the 20-inch finals. We have Dominic, who finished in second place in the semi-finals. So I'm really excited to see how he gets on, because that guy is a powerhouse. And there is some big moves here.
I mean... I called a young Spanish rider, Alejandro Montalvo, a mental beast earlier in the moderation, which he definitely is.
How does he do it? Like, what is it? I mean,
he's tackling obstacles like 7 times and has 20 seconds left for the rest of the section, still finishes it. It's amazing. Like, really looking forward to see him riding again in the afternoon.
Yeah, absolutely.
We see Elzbieta struggling a bit on the last lock, but she got there on clean. She has half a minute left. And now nicely rolling up that lock.
It's a good thing she's got disc brakes. My brakes would be destroyed after going in that water. So
she's taking it up. Oh, unfortunate for her. Still,
I don't think it's going to
great first ever final. She's waving to the crowd. She's not happy with the last section, but I think overall she will be very happy about this World Cup.
Absolutely, she should be happy with that. So 16 points she finishes on. And guaranteed 5th place here in the final in the last World Cup. It is quite steep. Look at that. You can see just as you edge up and try and get the front wheel on. Really high up. Not an easy move at all.
So let's see how strong Irene's nerves are.
So question here, disc brakes, are they more easy to damage or not? Well, they are kind of more easy to damage. You can still break hoses, etc. on a hydraulic rim brake, but generally, if you side up to the left-hand side, so if you're a right-footed rider, you're probably more likely to land on your disc than you are if you're a right-footed rider. So
and Irene takes a step in the pool. This is now really bad because the shoe is going to be super slippery on the pedal.
And that means at the moment she is level with Perrin. So if she has one more point.
Actually,
through this section.
She's not level with Perrin because Perrin has a clean and she hasn't. So Perrin is actually already in the lead.
Oh, well noted. Look at that. Yes, very true, Felix. Very true. So now with the tyres being wet, it makes things a little bit more slippery and a little bit more exciting.
But you, as a rider, you can't think about your tire being slippery. You just have to ride normal and really pull it.
Yeah, this is interesting. She's gone round to the side to this little tiny bit. She can go up on the back wheel and try and pivot round and gap at an angle through that gate.
With a wet tire.
With a wet tire. Oh, she's done it. She is
and
loving the water today.
And now she simply doesn't care about the water. She's like, okay, fuck, my tire is wet anyway, so I might as well drop in.
Absolutely, absolutely. Oh, she did that really well.
Yes.
Really well. Just a foot down there, so 2 points so far 20.
But
yeah,
now
she's running
going
out of
up that long lock with a wet tire, let's see how she will
time.
go.
And in 20 seconds.
Yes. She's deciding to go slow.
I think that's secured that Perrin will be on the podium as well. And obviously we know Nina's won, and it's just what Manon can do in this last section. I think we're going to see something pretty good from Manon in this last section.
Yeah, she's going to go full at it.
And Irene's going to finish.
Come on, pull it out.
Come on. Yeah.
Nice.
Nice little 1-2 move down to finish. 3 points, 1 on time there.
And she's happy. She knows the water wasn't ideal, but a great race from Irene Caminos from Spain.
And she will finish on 12 points.
Which puts her in a very close 4th place.
Indeed. So here we go. It's down to Manon
versus Nina.
Her own riding is going to determine whether she's going to be second or third.
And actually, if she fives,
she could be fourth.
Fourth. So there,
maybe we'll
write a bit of maybe we see some tactical depths if she's informed about the scores.
This is where like some people can just fall apart. You know?
Yeah, just from the nerves.
These girls, I think they've got pretty good nerves, and I've seen Manon and Nina and all of them actually just when they've been under pressure and they've just held it together. And I think, you know, I've been riding a very long time, and I'm pretty sure I'm not as good as these guys under pressure. Here we go.
I can tell from my own experience.
Yeah.
I'm a training expert. As soon as there's tapes and spectators.
Oh no! No,
what happened?
None. Oh, she's going to be got.
She went all for it.
Off the podium.
She ends in the pool and on 4th place. Too bad, Manon. Great riding this weekend.
So Irene takes 3rd place. That is absolutely amazing, and of course, a big victory
for Nina,
the local favourite.
Oh,
Nina.
But nicely caught. Her male colleague Vincent this morning.
Yeah,
similar looking crash went all in.
Down and had a bath in there in this section. I didn't know what was going on. So Vincent's going to kill me when he hears this back.
Yeah, I don't think so.
He's currently over in the warm-up section, getting ready for his attack on the 26-inch elite final, which is going to be starting any minute now.
Yes. So actually. Don't leave the live stream. We will continue with the male final quite soon. Obviously now there's the mandatory winner interview, which will be on stage, broadcasted also on YouTube and Facebook. And we will be back shortly then with the men 26-inch final, which is actually a Spanish-French battle.
It is.
So there's 3 Spanish and 3 French riders.
26 inches where it's at. It's going to be crazy.
And seeing their level is crazy. I mean, Andrea, you had very good riding.
Hey, Hannes. We're just waving to the local presenters, which is Hannes Herman, good friend of mine.
Yeah. Also good riding in the semi-final. Massive crash in the first round. Went to the training section in the middle of the competition after his crash for like 15 minutes.
Really?
To get back on the bike, to get the feeling back, and then finish the competition.
And he finished in 10th place.
Yes.
Which is amazing, because he hasn't very much this year.
Another top 10 result. But actually he did very well this year because he said, okay, I started working full-time, and it's not a 9-to-5 job he does, so it's full-time means full-time. And he said, look, I'm going to take the World Cups for fun. There's so many good young German riders. So actually he only finished 3rd at the German Championships, I think.
Yes, yeah.
So, but at the World Cups, his experience pays off, and he's now getting ready for the interview. He will do the interview with Nina, which is quite funny. They've been riding in the German national team together for years.
Absolutely.
The young crowd loves the big screen. They're currently on the big screen. They're going crazy on the stand. It's really cool.
Reichenbach.
Nina, dein Ballfall. Oh mein Gott, was war das für ein Finale? Vielleicht mal zum Einstieg hier, so ein Indoor-Trial Cup mit so einem Publikum, das ist schon was Besonderes, oder?
Ja, also für mich war es der erste Weltcup, der in der Halle stattfand und ich muss sagen, mir hat es echt richtig gut gefallen. Und ich bin auch echt begeistert vom Publikum, dass so viele hier rauskommen sind an einem Flughafen und hat mich sehr gefreut.
Wie war das für dich? Du bist jetzt hier an der ersten Sektion ein kleines Problemchen gehabt. War das vielleicht auch der Druck des Publikums oder ist das eine Stelle gewesen, die dir nicht gelegen hat?
Ich würde sagen, es ist einfach blöd gelaufen, weil am Anfang ist es natürlich blöd, so im Wettkampf reinzustarten. Aber ich hatte dann natürlich für die nächste Sektion deutlich mehr Druck. Aber ich konnte ja zum Glück gut damit umgehen und habe mich von dem ersten Fehler dann aus der Ruhe bringen lassen.
Konntest du sehr, sehr gut damit umgehen. Hast dir dann nur noch einen Fehler erlaubt, hast dann wirklich deine ganze Klasse gezeigt. Gestern im Qualifying, im Halbfinale, da lief es nicht ganz so optimal. Da haben wir schon gedacht, na, hoffentlich wird das halt was. Hast du da nochmal für dich ein paar Schlüsse draus gezogen oder was war da gestern los?
Ja, das im Halbfinale, da ist mir auch ein Fehler genau in der gleichen Sektion unterlaufen. Das war auch echt unglücklich, da war ich nicht ganz fokussiert. Und ja, das ist ein bisschen blöd gelaufen, aber ich konnte es ja heute zum Glück wieder gerade biegen.
Definitiv und dir damit wieder die Weltcup-Gesamtwertung sicher und zwar mit einem lupenreinen Ergebnis. Jetzt für dich 800 Punkte insgesamt, 1000 Punkte sogar insgesamt, also als optimale Ergebnis im Weltcup, werden wir dann auch gleich sehen. Jetzt geht es ja noch nach China für die Weltelite, da werden wir dich doch bestimmt auch sehen.
Genau, ja, am 2. November fliegen wir nach China, nach Chengdu. Und da findet dann Weltmeisterschaft statt und ich hoffe natürlich, dass ich da mein Trikot verteidigen kann.
Und das hoffen wir natürlich auch. Nina Reichenbach, die Weltmeisterin und alte und neue Weltcup-Gesamtsiegerin aus Deutschland. Danke an dich, Nina.
Hello Nina, congratulations from myself to your great victory. It was great to watch you and how was your race? What was the key situation in this race for you and what was the most emotional situation for you in this race here in Berlin?
The final here at the World Cup in Berlin was very difficult for me. I had a really bad start and in the first section I made a 5 and therefore I had a lot of pressure for the next sections. But I found my riding back and I showed some really good actions and therefore I'm really happy to win this last World Cup here in Berlin in Germany too.
I think you did a really great job. Now the next question is in German for all the German spectators. Nina, Gratulation nochmal für diesen tollen Sieg, den du hier eingefahren hast. Was hat das für dich bedeutet, besonders hier in Deutschland, in Berlin, in unserer Hauptstadt, diesen Titel zu holen?
Also für mich war es das erste Mal, dass ich hier in meinem Heimatland einen Weltcup hatte und hat mich natürlich sehr gefreut und leider hatte ich im Finale in der ersten Sektion gleich einen blöden Start, aber bin dann zum Glück wieder gut in den Wettkampf zurückgekommen und habe dann noch ein paar gute Sprünge gemacht und bin deshalb auch sehr froh, dass ich jetzt noch den Gesamtsieg sicher machen konnte.
Also da auch nochmal gratuliere von unserer Seite und vielen Dank für das Interview, Nina Reichenbach.
So while we're just waiting for the 26-inch elite men to finish, or to start, sorry, just going to answer a couple of questions we've got here. Is Romania in the competition? Is there any Romanian riders? I don't actually think there is. It's a bit of a shame. I was in Bucharest about a month ago for 2 weeks, and not the best city to ride, guys. Come on. But yeah, unfortunately, I don't think there's any riders here from Romania at the moment. 20-inch finals for the elite men will be after the 26-inch, so in just over an hour's time. Hey girl, tuned into the live stream, we are just waiting for the 26-inch elite to finish. Oh, sorry, to start. They're just warming up over the warm-up area. They're going to be starting now. The elite women have just finished. The podium was Irene Caminos from Spain in third place, Corinne Divahive from Belgium in second place, and Nina Reichenbach from Germany in first place. And then a little rundown on the results from the 26-inch semi-final. The qualified riders in 6th place. I'll tell you what, they're starting 7th place, myself. But in 6th place we have Clement Mayo on 21 points in the semi-finals. He had 16 on the first lap and 5 on the second lap. Real big increase there. Quite similar to myself. I had 17 on the first lap and 6 on the second lap. Really shows that once you knew the sections and you knew everything was possible, you could really make a difference. And then in 5th place we have the legend that is Abel Mustieles, trying to find his form on the 26-inch bike after deciding to move to 26-inch from last year. So we're going to get to see him in the final on that new extra short carbon 26-inch green bike. He had 9 on the first lap, 7 on the second lap, so very consistent, solid ride for him in the semi-finals. Then Vincent Amance qualified in 4th place, 10 on the first and 2 on the second lap in the semi-finals. So a fantastic second lap. Took a swim on section 5 on the first lap, which, although very funny, was not great to score. Then Noah Cordona, unbelievable riding by the young Frenchman there, into 3rd place. He finished on just 10 points, 8 on the first lap, 2 on the second, just ahead of Vincent. And then 2nd place, now our 2 front runners, have to say, Sergio Longueras finished on 2 points, clean first lap, 2 points on the second. And Nicolas Valle cleaned the entire semi-finals, only rider to do so. The only 2 riders with clean laps in the 26-inch were Valle and Sergio Longueras. So literally, I don't want to say it's a 2-horse race because anything can happen. We're still a long way to go. But yeah, we have Nicolas Valle and Sergio Longueras really miles ahead of the rest of the field so far. But the finals are a completely different box of frogs.